Hello everybody and welcome to another ATC Maths and Science tutorial video. Today we'll be dealing with how to write down cell notation under the topic electrochemistry. Now cell notation is essentially where we write down the reaction at the anode followed by a double line, and then we write down the reaction at cathode. Now, when I say write down the reaction, it's just the product and reactant. It's going to be what is going to be oxidized and what's going to be reduced. We must also note that the double line in cell notation represents the salt bridge. In a separate video, we will have the explanation as to what a salt bridge is and its purposes. But for now, let's just stick to figuring out how to write down cell notation. So in any reaction, we know that certain substances, reactants or products will be in certain phases. And so if the reactant or product is in the aqueous phase, as part of our cell notation, we are expected to state its concentration alongside in brackets. And if it is in the gaseous phase, then we must write down the pressure. Standard atmospheric pressure. So these values come from our standard cell conditions. Now, let's do a reaction. Let's write down a reaction and use it as an example to show how cell notation works. Well, let's say this is the reaction that we had to deal with. So the oxidation half reaction, which would be for the anode, would be, say, Zn solid, which would give me Zn 2 plus aqueous plus 2 electrons. And the reduction half reaction, which would be for our cathode. So this is the reaction that takes place at the anode. And the reduction half reaction would be Cu2 plus aqueous plus 2 electrons. That gives me Cu solid. That's the reaction that takes place at the cathode. So for this reaction, let's write down the cell notation. So firstly, what reaction's taking place at the anode? It's zinc solid that becomes zinc aqueous, or Zn2 plus. So we would say Zn solid becomes Zn2 plus aqueous. And because it is aqueous, we must state the standard concentration alongside. So we will say 1 mole per decimeter cubed in brackets. This will be followed by a double line representing the salt bridge. And now we must go to state what reaction took place at the cathode. So what reaction took place at the cathode? Cu2 plus became Cu. So we have Cu2 plus aqueous becomes, with its concentration, 1 mole per decimeter cubed, would become Cu solid. You would note that when we're writing down cell notation, we only include the standard cell conditions for aqueous and gaseous phased substances, not solids and not liquids.